Who would have thought that the running back position is one of the most divisive topics on New York Jets social media? Well, we get into it. How important is adding another running back to the backfield for the New York Jets, if even at all? Let's roll.
Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever seen.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Good morning, everybody. What's poppin'? I'm Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video program, also available wherever you get your podcast. Welcome to the show. Make sure you contribute in the free ways wherever you're watching on YouTube. Like the vid. Also hit subscribe down below. And on Facebook, our Heavy on Jets. Shout out to our Heavy overlords for supporting the show and making it possible. And, of course, on Twitter as well, at BoyGreen25. And I told you that we had a rare double dip, something that's never happened in this show's history, which I'm very happy and cool to check this one off the bucket list. Italy Jet once again gracing us with his presence here on a Friday to close out the work week before we get to the weekend. Let's bring him in. What's up, Italy?
What's going on? Ciao, everyone. Good morning. Running backs is one of my favorite things to talk about. I hope you're doing well. It's a back-to-back. Hey, there you go. Jared B., what am I to you? So it's good. It's good stuff. How you doing, man?
Yeah, Jared B. up here on the show. Before we get into the running backs, I will just say, so if you guys were watching anywhere in probably the last episode, but I invited you guys, and I did a shout-out on social media. That got a lot of people involved, too. You got a bunch of followers, so that makes sense. It's called Man Child Madness 2024, but for our sake, we'll call it Boy Green Madness. And I'm just going to ask you, I was going to ask you, Italy, how your bracket's doing, because, on the ESPN Tournament Challenge app, which I have on my phone, it cuts off at a certain point so you can see the first page. So a first page is probably a good indication of how someone's doing. And Italy Jet, you were still on the first page with the 120 points. So, nice job, man. I also have 120 points, but I didn't make the first page. That's okay. No shame in that, I suppose. But Italy Jet, you're besides that, I don't think I recognize anyone else on here of note for us. Like, I know some people from the radio station, but here in Jetsland, I don't see anyone else on this first page. So it's only you, Italy Jet. Congratulations, pal.
Wow. I'm shocked because I just with those brackets, you just never know what you're going to do, right? You never know what's going to be good or bad. So, hey, this is the first time for me. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's not bad being alive after the first day. We got another 16 games today, so it's going to get spicy. So if you're in first place, take a picture. It might last longer, but hey, but either way. So let me ask you right this off the top, because, again, it's somewhat surprising that this topic we're about to talk about is one of the most divisive on social media, but quite frankly, it is. Jet fans are at each other's throats about this. They're either completely on one side or completely on the other. There seems to be no in between from my observations on Jet social media. So let's just start with the bare basic question.
Okay.
And it's the headline of this video. Italy Jet. How important? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm Raggy Bracket. So let me give a quick shout out to Kevin Bracco. He's got 130 points. Okay, so he's even above Italy. Okay. Congratulations, Kevin. But it's good to know your guys' names. Now when I'm on the radio later and I see like Raggy, I'll be like, yes, okay. I could give a cool shout out there. So, okay, yeah, all right, great. If any of you other guys have a bracket out there and have a name that I might not recognize, feel free to throw that out there. I saw a lot of Jets people, if they joined from any of my Jet channels, they just kind of said something Jets. I'm like, oh, okay, there's that person. But anywho, back to the question at hand, and it's simply this. So, Italy, I ask you the question. It's at the headline of this video. How important is it for the Jets to add a running back behind Breece Hall in your mind this offseason?
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, I don't think as much as I love Izzy, I think he's ready to take the next step. I still think we need to bring somebody in here. I mean, with an offense, we're with plenty of talent, you got to have playmakers. And especially with this offense, the way Hackett runs, a lot of playmakers. I'm looking at Harris. I'm looking at JK Dobbins. Just to rub it in the Cowboys' face, I'm looking at Zeke. And I'm not even a Zeke fan, and he's from St. Louis, where I'm from.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, I taught hockey at his grade school in the gym.
What?
He was never there. He was never there because he's a little older than me, but I taught at his grade school, out of all things. So it's cool.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Just to rub it in the Cowboys' face. Why not get Zeke in here for third down red zone specialist? But I'm looking at Damian Harris to rub it in the Patriots' face. I'm looking at J.K. Dobbins as my third guy, and then Zeke is my second guy. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that.
Okay, yeah, let me just make sure I heard you on that last thing. So let's say Zeke. Let's use that example, although Damian Harris, you can plug anyone you wanted there. Is that player you're adding in RB2 or RB3 in your mind?
You know what? I think it's got to be RB2 as of right now.
Yes.
Because we don't know what Izzy is going to be. He didn't really play much last year. I feel like we're still easing him in. So unless he just explodes during all these camps and stuff, then I'm like, okay, then RB2 is great, but you still got to bring someone in. Even in the draft. You want to go in the draft and get someone later on. That's cool too. But those are my three options. And it's got to be RB2 as of right now, Boy Green. What about you?
Okay, yeah, we are pretty aligned here. I will say, though, I don't want to say vehemently against. That's probably too aggressive. But I don't want the Jets to fill their running back hole with a draft pick, personally. They only have 7 picks. Mm-hmm. I would, off the top of my head, things that I would be willing to draft. A third quarterback. Tight end, potentially all the Brock Bowers people in the audience. That's potential on the table. Offensive tackle, guard, center, defensive line, safety, linebacker. I'm naming a bunch of things before I personally get to, let's draft a running back, because I don't get the purpose of just having another draft pick running back. To me, I think there is a path to get a cheap veteran running back and add him as the guy. Because here's the thing, and this is the part that's divisive. Every time I bring up this topic, how important is it to add a backup running back for the Jets? Jet fans swarm to my mentions and say, pal, have you forgot about Israel Abanikanda? And no, I haven't. And he's exciting. When he got drafted, it was cool. His family up in Brooklyn, and then Izzy to the Hizzy, and all that stuff was a lot of fun. But the fact of the matter is, I have it in front of me. Izzy last season appeared in 6 games. He had 22 carries for 70 yards, 3.2 a clip. Now, that's not a great sample size to be able to determine one way or the other how Izzy is. I think we can all agree on that. It's 22 carries. It's 70 yards. We don't know what he is. But here's what I do know. Mm-hmm. The coaching staff, on multiple occasions, questioned his ability to pass protect. And let me just hook you up as a former running back, and I will tell you the number one thing they told me if I wanted to get on the field, they said, you better be able to protect our quarterback. And if you can't, you're not going to be on the field. That's what they told me back in high school. Now, I know this is the professional level, but pass protection as a running back allows you to stay on the field for more than one down. Because if not, then you're just a spurt player. If you can pass protect, you could be on all kinds of downs. You could be on passing downs. You could be on running downs. You could be on all kinds of downs. The fact of the matter is he was called out. It doesn't mean he can't improve in this area, but he was called out for pass protection issues, and his performance on the field wasn't crazy. Now, I will tell you from a either broadcast game watching angle or tape watching angle, whatever you want to say, Every time Izzy got the ball, it felt like he had juice. It felt like he was moving at a different speed than everybody else. So I can admit all that, and all that's cool.
Right.
But to know where you are on the Izzy train is simply this. I'll ask you this question, Illy. If Breece Hall goes down, God forbid, we don't want it to happen. He played in all 17 games last year. I mean, it's an incredible feat that probably doesn't get enough credit coming off the torn ACL. If Breece Hall went down, would you be comfortable as Izzy as your number one running back?
First off, knock on all the wood that doesn't happen. Knock
Of
on
course,
every single wood I have around me.
Yeah.
Am I comfortable with Izzy being number one? I think I would warm up to it. I think I would definitely warm up to it. But I still think you do need someone there. I think there's a lot of upside with Izzy. Second year,
Of course. Yeah.
With second year, he really attacks the pocket very well. And just his muscle in general. Like I think the speed with that too. You saw him in preseason. You've seen him the 6 games. He's got a lot of upside, but I think as of right now, I'm open to it. But you still need that other guy in there if, God forbid, Breece does go down.
Okay. I'm not cool with it, but I'll go to Jared B and say we're fooked if Breece goes down. That's a proper way to say it, Jared B. Part of our Boy Green Superfan Club, a part of our YouTube membership. Appreciate that, Jared, and anyone else, John Sow and a couple others that I see in here that are repping. We appreciate that. That's available for anyone who's watching on YouTube. The fact of the matter is I would not be. But I'm with you on the original part of the conversation. Let's bring in, and again, insert whatever guy you want. We'll actually talk about Dobbins in a little bit, but Zeke, Damian Harris, Cordero Patterson, whoever your guy is, I say you add them, and I'm talking dirt cheap. The Jets made a mistake. Dalvin Cook last year. Now, again, that was a move I was for, so I'm not hiding from that. I will be on the forefront. They paid $7 million. They overpaid. They got a little too crazy, and there was no other market for him at that point. The Jets should have not paid him that much. So the result was terrible. However, the thought process was sound in my mind, that it made sense why they were doing it. They didn't know how Breece Hall was going to come back from his ACL or at all. Like, and I'm not saying like career ending, but I mean, was he ever going to be the same player before? Some people aren't. That's a fact of the matter. And by the way, immediately welcome to the Boy Green Superfan Club NC. Welcome, brother. Appreciate you. So again, people, join the wave, the Boy Green Superfan Club, to support this show on a day-to-day basis. We appreciate you. So NC, welcome to the program, baby. But in terms of the running back conversation, to me, I think they made the right play with the aggression of getting a guy, but perhaps too aggressive. And to be honest, all of these names I just said, Damian Harris, Cordero Patterson, Zeke, all these guys are going to come relatively cheap. Cheap. Nowhere near the Dalvin Cook signing that happened. So you're making a very low cost, and I don't know if this happens before the draft, after the draft, when it happens. I have no idea. I have no idea when it's going to happen.
It'll happen down the line. I think it's going to be down the line.
Maybe it does. It could happen in May or June, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'd like to make sure you go get your guy, whoever it is, because here's what I don't want to happen. So let's say all the Izzy people in the crowd are like, Izzy's RB2. Let's get him. So then it's Breece, it's Izzy, and then let's say random day 3 dart throw on your favorite running back of choice, and you add him in. And then, again, God forbid something happens, and then all of a sudden Izzy and random dart throw are in there, and then you quickly realize, oh, shoot, this ain't working. We need to go get a running back. All of a sudden, I think you get desperate, and that's where we're back in the Dalvin Cook situation. You're trading for something or doing something wild. So I want to prevent that from happening. So I want to go get another guy. And here's the other thing, because I never want to see this again. Breece Hall in the regular season finale against the New England Patriots had 37 carries. Yep. And that's a number that I would never like to see from Breece Hall again at any point in his career, let alone basically a year removed from his surgery to repair an ACL. That to me was terrible.
Mhm.
I hated seeing that. I never want to see that again. This is a day and age where we should use Breece Hall's explosiveness. I'm not trying to take, and that's another criticism we get all the time. I'm not trying to take carries off of Breece Hall's plate in that manner, like take the ball away from him and give it to another guy. That's not what I'm saying. I want to preserve, I want to extend the shelf life of Breece Hall. If the Jets have playoff aspirations, you want a healthy horse in the stable in Breece Hall so he's ready for the playoffs. If you're giving him a 37 attempt game in week 18, that doesn't bode well for the upcoming postseason. That's another part of the equation that I throw out there into the universe. So to just put it bluntly, I think it's a very important role, but I'm willing to move. So I go to you here, Italy, that I'm willing to have Breece, insert random running back. We can all agree or disagree, whatever that name's going to be. And then is he
Right.
RB3? And what
Mhm.
if, because there is a chance that RB3 Izzy kicks ass in camp, kicks ass in OTAs, and I am leaving the door unlocked. If Izzy, you want to come take whoever this veteran's job is, be my guest because it's going to be cheap veteran money anyway. So I don't give a flying hoot whether he's door number 2 or door number 3. So I'm leaving the door open for that Izzy thing you just talked about, that there's a chance he develops. There's a chance he gets better at pass protection. There's a chance he rounds out his game with more opportunities. He shows a little bit more chutzpah, if I may. So all of that is on the table potentially for the Jets. That's what I'm willing to do, but he needs to start, in my opinion, Izzy at RB3 door and try to work his way up. He's a 5th round pick that hasn't really gotten a chance to do anything. So that's what I would say from that perspective, personally. NC says, who's a brand new member to the Boyd Green Superfan Club, believes the 37 carries was an obsession by Saleh to beat Belichick. I think actually it was an obsession to try to get Breece Hall to 1,000 yards rushing. Eventually, once it became kind of within reach, I
That's
think
what
that
I
was more
thinking,
so
yeah.
it. Although I can correlate with the Saleh obsession to beat the Patriots. I know a lot of Jet fans were upset with them winning against the Patriots and how all the drafts unfolding. Thomas Morstead said it on my show that, like, screw the tankers. Like, you guys want to change this culture. Thomas Morstead, the Jets punter, joined us on the show. By the way, he picked a New Jersey number at 6. Number 6.
Hey.
So Mark Sanchez 6 coming back. Very nice.
Hey, very his old number with the Saints and so
Sure,
on and so on.
Yeah, where he won a Super Bowl. So there's a lot of good correlation there. And also congratulations to Thomas Morstead. His wife's having baby number 5 coming up this summer. So a shout out to Thomas. They kept that under wraps until announcing that recently. And he said that he originally picked number 5, which, by the way, he gave to Garrett Wilson. He said he originally picked number 5 to put pressure on his wife to have a 5th child because they have 4 children and they're about to have 5. So he is now switching to 6, and it's wink, wink, wife on standby. So maybe there's twins coming. It doesn't sound like that's happening. I think he would know that by now, but maybe a 6th baby could be on the way. So shout out Thomas Morstead, and congrats on the sex pal. Very nice. So shout out to you, Thomas Morstead. But I do believe the Breece Hall 1,000-yard and the mathematician that was likely fired on the sideline after they thought they got him to 1,000 and they didn't. So the Jets have not had a 1,000-yard running back since 2015. That is Chris Ivory, folks, for your trivia contest at your next local watering hole. That is it as well. So NC, maybe there is something to the Patriot aspect of it, but I just think it was a fair cautionary tale, at least for me, looking at it, that it was a thing I just don't want to see. I don't want to see Breece Hall getting that kind of workload. And again, I love Breece. He is unquestionably the straw that stirs the drink for this team, and he always will be. But I just want to protect him against himself and to have another guy. Because here's a situation that Jet fans are not familiar with, Italy, and it's this. The Jets are going to have leads next season, and you have to do the good old 10-minute drill, the 8-minute drill, the 7-minute drill, where you just chew clock and just eat it. It's the victory formation drill. You need to take off as much time as possible and grind out games. And in those scenarios, do you need Breece Hall in there when you're up 20 points in the 4th quarter? I don't think so. Bring in Joe Blow, whoever your guy is, and grind out the game. Again, it's something Jet fans aren't familiar with. We didn't have a lot of leads last year in general, let alone massive leads, that we would need that guy. But I think that's another part of the equation, Italy.
I 100% agree. I think it's good to get one down the line. I still am looking. I really am still looking at a guy that would piss off the Patriots and Cowboys again. That would be great. Just like to see him in another uniform. I think it's a little small dig because my brother-in-law is a Cowboys fan. So shout out to him. He is watching. So yeah, just to get Zeke maybe. I don't know. Even though I'm not really big on that one. But yes, running back two is important, Boy Green. And I still think with Breece Hall, I want to save him for more down the line, go in the middle of the season, playoffs, and even if he does get an injury, knock on all the wood, you got to have a good backup, whether it's going to be Izzy or someone else. And especially with this system and in this offense with a bunch of playmakers, run heavy, running back, I'm good with that.
Yeah, by the way, going to NC, apparently his NC represents the North Carolina Tar Heels and NC State.
Okay. Yeah.
Who, by the way, I predicted both of those yesterday, and I actually have NC State going on a run. The Wolfpack, the ACC champs, winning the conference tournament for the first time since the 80s. So I have them going on a little bit of a run, and I appreciate they're playing Oakland in the next round. So it looks up very nicely for the Wolfpack to hunt as wolves and kind of attack. I kind of like that. So NC, I am with you, brother, on that here in ACC country here. Syracuse did not make it, so I will be getting it as well. Yeah, Kevin saying Morstead getting busy. Yes, he is. Yeah, so very nice. Congratulations, Thomas Morstead. We'll have him back. And Eddie Diaz on Facebook. I loved Ivory 100%. That was one of those savvy additions the Jets brought in, and he was just an angry runner and didn't go down on first contact. So he had a lot of exciting runs in his career where he's shaking off defenders. He breaks another and then cuts back and bang, 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 gets to the end zone. Oh yeah, he was a fun guy. There's no doubt about it. Real quick, you've been mentioning Zeke a few times, and you said you're not a fan of it. I actually am.
Oh, Zeke, you are? But what about Patterson? Patterson and Hunt. You like those two? I like them.
Sure, yeah. All those guys are good. So Kareem Hunt's good. The Jets investigated a trade for him in that James Robinson year. Unfortunately, terrible reasoning for it. Of course, Breece Hall went down, and then the Jets immediately investigated the trade market. They had trade conversations with the Browns, but the Browns wanted a little too much.
They did. They wanted a lot,
Brutus beefcake for Kareem Hunt that the Jets weren't willing to pay, so they went to James Robinson instead, and that worked out for the Buffalo upset where he scored a touchdown, but overall was terrible. So they did investigate that, and he's still a free agent, so Kareem Hunt's out there in the universe. By the way, anyone who mentioned A.J. Dillon earlier, he is re-signed with the Packers, so he is not available for those. That one would have made sense. Cordero Patterson can run and catch the ball, so he's an intriguing piece. Of course, he's getting up there in age, but I like him, and he's got some return juice to him as well, so I like that. But Zeke, the thing I love about Zeke, besides, again, my dad's a diehard Cowboys fan, so sticking it to him is always cool, and just because I've seen a lot of Zeke in my life, Zeke is a guy that checks off all the boxes. He could pass protect, there's no question. He can run the ball in short yardage situations. He actually even showed some chutzpah receiving the ball. Again, I don't think he's Christian McCaffrey or anything, but he can catch the ball out of the backfield too. So he can just kind of do a lot, which I like. And he's still relatively young. He's 28, 29, somewhere in that ballpark. So I'd love to see Zeke. And he took a load off because last year he wasn't nearly running as much as he had been in his Cowboys past. So he's still out there in the universe. Zeke's kind of, as Kevin says, a perfect fit. And I agree with what the Jets need. So he does that as well. And Kareem to Kareem here, like a basketball pickup game. He believes Hunt does all those things as well. And I agree. Kareem Hunt is a nice little, lower to the surface, what they call me, lowered to the, the center of gravity was lower kind of guy. So that's another one I think really intrigues me. But let's get to the other one, and that's this. I'll throw this up on the screen in case you guys missed it yesterday. I tweeted this out. Let me put this up. A name we've kind of flirted with, JK Dobbins. Believe it or not, the Jets are the second best betting odds to land J.K. Dobbins this offseason per Bet Maryland. The Cowboys, speaking of, are first at plus 550, although they just brought in, I think it was Rico Dowdle. I got to see what other running backs they've added, but Dallas Cowboys are the favorite, plus 550. Right behind them, narrowly behind, are the New York Jets at plus 650. You have Chargers plus 1,000. They have all the Ravens people over there, so Greg Roman and stuff. That one makes sense. The Raiders, I believe they just added Madison, so they're probably eliminated. And the Giants picked up Devin Singletary. So we'll see how much some of those guys are still going to be in it. And for those who don't know, Dobbins and Aaron Rodgers rehab their Achilles together. The problem with the Dobbins is the injury history, and it's long. He's had a torn ACL. He's had a blown Achilles. But here's the good news: he'd come dirt cheap. I wrote an article for it on Heavy on Jets. Hopefully, you guys can check that out. Again, all my Jets articles. I write at least 2 articles a day, every day, on all things New York Jets, things that intrigue me, betting favorites, mock drafts. There's all kinds of fun stuff that you guys can find in there. But the projected contract from Brad Spielberger is a $2 million deal with 1.25 guaranteed. That's just a few shekels more than the veteran minimum. So while he has an injury history, when he's on the field, he's been dynamic. He averages 5.8 yards per carry in his career. So he's dynamic when he has it. He also, the receiving game isn't as great. He doesn't have as much experience, but his number is fine. He's 6+ yards per reception. But again, there's not a lot of sample size there, so it's harder to take more out of that. But from a running perspective, 5.8 yards per clip, sign me the hell up. So while there are injuries, you're managing the injuries with the contract structure, and that still opens a back door for Izzy to steal his job. So, and he has a relationship with Rodgers, and when he's been healthy, he's been really good. That'd be kind of a nice guy because he wouldn't be the straw that stirs the drink here. Breece Hall is the main guy. So that one to me would be pretty intriguing on old JK Dobbins. What do you make of JK Dobbins? Second betting favorite are the New York Jets right now.
I mean, it's just so much injury history, just a lot of durability. And I agree with Kevin Bracco in the chat. Injury history, he fits right in with the New York Jets. Why don't just have if you have an injury history on the special teams, defense, offense, come on over, man. Shoot.
That's true. That's a good point. I mean, it's an astute observation. Think about it. Tyron Smith, Mike Williams. Even Aaron Rodgers, I mean, with what just came up, yeah. Morgan Moses has been relatively healthy, although he tore his pec last year and he's coming back from surgery. Chuck Clark, they brought him back. He's recovering from surgery. Yeah. I mean, it is a if we were murder detectives, we're like, is there a pattern here? There seems to be a pattern on these victims. But yes, it's true.
Oh my gosh,
it's true.
I love it.
So would you stay away, or would you be?
We are the rehab.
Would you stay
center.
away or dip your toe in? Yeah, I see that. We are the rehab center. Matthias, hopefully we get a few of these patients out. Like some of us when we're growing up, there's that injured bird that has kind of a troubled wing in your front yard. You put them in a shoebox, you bring them in your house, you try to nurse them back to health, and hopefully one day out the window it's, let's let them free. Caw-caw, caw-caw. And then they fly out. You're like, yeah, look what happened. And then sometimes they die in the box, and they don't. So hopefully we're not getting a lot of these ones dying in the box, so to speak, if we're going there. So let me ask you bluntly here, Italy. Are you for it or against it on J.K. Dobbins?
He's my last resort. You can't get to the guy.
Well,
it's just, I just don't know. I mean, if he runs on the field, it's like that scary thing that happened in the Super Bowl with the linebacker runs on the field and he gets injured right there. That's what I'm afraid of for J.K. Dobbins. I want all these guys to be healthy. I want all these guys to be healthy. But Dobbins scares me with the injury history, even though I think he could be effective for this team.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I think you get it with the price, but also you don't want him to get injured again. Then you're desperately searching for another veteran running back. So I understand the potential worry there. All right, I'll go to some random questions as well. Again, I think we need another running back behind Breece Hall, but we'll see. To me, I prefer veteran because you could get him for dirt cheap. You could insert your random guy and pick him up after the draft and, fill that role. I'm not really, I don't think they need to draft a guy. They have Breece Hall. They have Izzy. I don't need another draft pick. They only have 7 picks in this draft. I'd like to see those go to other positions personally. So I've seen a lot of people in the chat mention drafting a running back. I'm not really in that ballpark personally. But for the people that do say draft, the good news is because NFL teams that had running back voids, they went to free agency to fill them. And it looks like this running back class isn't going to have anyone in the top 50 that's selected, which means it should push a lot of talent later. Maybe the Jets can get a steal. So I'll kind of leave my door open again, as I do for almost any take that I have, no matter how passionate I am. I'm open to interpretation on information to change potentially. All right, let's go to random questions. If you guys have questions, if you'd like to join the Boy Green Superfan Club, feel free to do so, just as NC did in the middle of this show and help support the program every day. We appreciate it. Let's go to Twitter. Jackson Valente. Speaking of special teams, why haven't we re-signed Justin Hardy? Yeah, I think it's twofold here, Jackson. Number one, of course, Hardy missed a bunch of time last year. He was hurt, and I think he wants to be paid a respectable amount. And the Jets, as a former Pro Bowler, Hardy is, and the Jets are like, can we get away with not paying Hardy? That's the conversation they're having right now. And it's a tough conversation because they brought back the rest of the special teams group, obviously. Zerline's back, Morstead's back, and now the Jets are making the gamble. I don't know if it's official yet, but they're making the gamble. Isaiah Oliver, who they signed from San Francisco, big-time special teams player. Irv Charles, they're hoping makes a leap, big-time special teams player. So I personally, if it was up to me, would bring Hardy back. The video's up on my channel. If you didn't see the full interview, there's a shorter clip in my YouTube Shorts or the shorter video section. I said Morstead, and this I thought was really cool. I said, Thomas, if you could be the NFL GM for a second, put on this GM hat, boop, put it on. If you could add a player to this roster or recruit a player, who would it be? And I thought he might say a splashy name, maybe. Maybe he'd rev up the fans and say Devontae Adams or whoever.
No, he said the other one.
First and only name he said was Justin Hardy. And he said, I'm being selfish. And he said that having a Justin Hardy, who I trust as a punter, this is Thomas Morstead talking, he said, it allows me to play free. It allows me to be aggressive because I can punt the ball all over the place. You know, you often hear the term outkick your coverage, like, you know, what I've done with my fiance, outkicking my coverage. You may hear that term, whether talking in the dating game or the football game. So sometimes people will bring that up. But also you hear it in football when you punt too far and you give the returners too much time to kind of catch the ball and evaluate the vision of the field, and you can, quote unquote, outkick your coverage or out punch your coverage, and that can put you in a bad spot. What Thomas told me on the show is he never has to worry about that with Hardy because he knows Hardy can find a way to get down there, which allows him to be more aggressive because, of course, in theory, you want to punt this ball as far as you can, depending situation. So right now, it's a money thing. The Jets are having a battle in their own brains. Can we get away without paying Hardy? Because, again, it's a business. And, you know, I want Hardy back. I can't say that enough. But it's a business, and that's some of the penny pinching the Jets are doing because they put the money at Tyron Smith. They put the money at Mike Williams. Now they're like, okay, eventually we have to cut back somewhere. Where are we cutting back? And the conversation the Jets are having in their brains is, can we cut back at Gunner, essentially, with Justin Hardy? I hope they don't. It feels right that Hardy has been through this crap here with the Jets recently, that he should be here for the turnaround, the era flip for the Jets this year, because I think the Jets are going to the playoffs. I think they're winning the division. I think they have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So I think the Jets are completely flipping this ship, and it'd be cool for Hardy, an OG guy of the last couple of years, to be a part of the turnaround because he was a leader on this team when things were going south. He didn't tuck his tail between his legs and run. He was fighting and showing that energy and chutzpah, if I may, and I'd love to see him back. So, but I think that's the honest conversation, quite frankly, that's happening inside the Jets building. Italy?
I would love to have Hardy back, but I agree with you. I think he definitely wants to get paid what he thinks that he gets, thinks what he's owed, and he's that type of player that does make special teams play their own and open up everything that they want to do. I think Hardy is a very important player. It's just I'm just interested to see what he wants again because, you know, we even brought him in, right? And it was a hefty contract. So now I just want to see what the numbers look like. But I dude, for this run, hell yeah, I want Hardy back on my team.
Of course. And let's go to another comment in here. We got Ricky New York, my boy. Boy Green only, in all capital letters. If we further solidify the offensive line, would I consider drafting a running back? Like if the clear RB1 is there. He's talking about Trey Benson, the Florida State Seminole, was there at 72. That's in the third round. I'd at least consider it. Yeah, the Jets have to have an open mindset and be willing to go. And the good news is a lot of people said the Jets are still pegged to take wide receiver offensive line. I don't think that's true, but I do think you've opened things up with how you've done this offseason. So you could go offensive tackle early, wide receiver 72. Could go, running back 72. I'll just be blunt. That would surprise me, but you have to be open to interpretation. If no running back is taken, which by the way I think is outside possible, that 72, the first running back could be taken. that might be, we'd have to be stretching a little for that to happen because it doesn't sound like it's happened in the top 50, and you need another 21 or 22 picks, depending on your math, to go before a guy would go. So yeah, sure. I guess you got to keep the door open. That's part of the draft, is being willing to go, whoa, we didn't expect this to happen, and then maybe zig when someone else's zag. So that could be possible as well. So Ricky, it is among the possibilities. There's no doubt about it. And that's another. I know Ricky's a big fan of this guy. We haven't brought up this guy up yet. Ricky says, BG, what about a 1-year flyer in Cam Akers? Super talented, and apparently we're just trying to pick up every Florida State football player I see is what's happening here. Cam Akers, another former Seminole. So we got like some Seminole love happening here in the chat. Hey, Leon Washington, the Seminole formation. I'm all for Florida State Seminoles, baby, coming in here. Yeah, that's another one. He's kind of in the same JK Dobbins pile of guys that have had injury histories. He had an Achilles as well a couple years ago. Yeah. But yeah, sure. I'm willing to swim in those waters. Sure, that's possible. Again, if I had to pick, gun to my head, probably my number one fit of a guy I could cherry pick would be Ezekiel Elliott. But I'm kind of open to a lot of these different names. Italy?
Harris or Patterson for me.
Okay. Harris or Patterson. Sorry. And what about Cam Akers? Anything or the same injury things? No, thank you.
I mean, good for him to come back in that Super Bowl and, winning it with the Rams. But overall, I'm just not. He's in the same department for Dobbins for me.
Yeah. Someone asked about Dalvin Cook. No, I do not believe he's coming back, but thank you for the question that came up earlier. All right, I'll answer your final couple questions here, and then we'll wrap up Boy Green Daily. Let's see. Paul on Heavy on Jets. Paul, how do you feel about... Oh, Paul to Paul. Appreciate you. Thank you. Paul, how do you feel about the Jets moving up in the draft and drafting Marvin Harrison Jr.? Yeah, me in Italy, because this is his second show in a row. He was here on the show yesterday. I am all about trading up and drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. I think, again, outside of the Jets taking a defender with the 10th overall pick, putting that one aside, and I guess quarterback, if somehow that happened, I think any other move the Jets make will be applauded by the Jets fan base. If they stick and pick, it will be applauded. If they move up, it will be applauded. If they trade back, it'll be applauded. The only thing that might get some weird reactions on the draft floor in Detroit is the New York Jets select quarterback, and people go, zoinks? Or the New York Jets select defensive linemen. They're like, oh, Jesus, not again. So those are the only two that I believe will create some sort of visceral reaction from the fans. Outside of that, trading up and all that stuff, trading up, trading down, sticking and picking, all that's on the table. Personally, me, if I'm the GM, I'm trading up. I'm getting froggy. I'm seeing what it costs to move up and how these guys are sliding on draft day. Absolutely. That is on my that's on my docket, baby. I'd be willing to investigate that pretty heavily.
I would say for me, here we go, Matthias Simon. If I love that the Jace McClain pick. Okay. I really like that one. I really like that one a lot. If I'm going to go for running back later on, that's what I really like that one from Alabama. Overall. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we jumped up. Wouldn't be surprised if we stayed. Wouldn't be surprised if we trade back. Personally, I would stay or trade back. But as you brought up yesterday, Boy Green, he is known for staying or jumping up. So really anything is possible, whether it's an O-line, whether it's a wide receiver. I just really want those. I really want those guys. Even all Harrison Neighbors, that would be good as well. But yeah. But it just I really just want to see what happens with Harrison Jr. with his attitude, the weight thing we talked about yesterday, weight thing he's going right now. I kind of want to see he's a generational talent. We all know that,
of course.
So I just kind of want to see what happens between now and then the draft, because the draft is literally right around the corner. I mean, literally you can blink and it's here. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, let's finish up with a couple more questions here. Another member of the Boy Green Superfan Club. Again, you guys can do that if you're watching on YouTube to support the show. It's a small cup of coffee, as Buffalo likes to describe it, to support the program every month, and it makes a tremendous difference. Helps me spend even more time here and invest my resources in here. So I appreciate you guys. Philly Noodles 631 says, Saleh and the staff set a precedent when they gave Hardy the captain badge. They must sign him up, whatever he needs. with an S. I love that. Yeah. Again, we will see. Right now, I think it's a money thing. The other thing is, Morstead gave that passionate play, but if you've been watching Hardy's tweets, it sounds like, again, we're interpreting now. Well, it's journalism in 2024, but it just seems like the conversation must not be going well based on some of these recent Hardy tweets where he's talking about special teams matters. Don't forget that. We don't know who he's talking about, but it sounds like if you draw the lines and connections, he may be talking about the Jets, but hopefully they change your mind. Philly Noodles, thanks for being part of the show. And finally, Johnny here. How many of you guys bought a bacon, egg, and cheese in a roll this week? I will tell you. So Matt O'Leary,
I have it.
Wonderful Jets content creator, he joined me on my radio show earlier this week. And he explained to me, because I'm not a New Jersey guy, I'm a New York guy. Maybe eventually I'll live in Jersey, but right now I'm a New York guy. So I don't really understand the pork thing or the Taylor egg and cheese thing. I don't understand the debate because that's not a sandwich or area, apparently, that I dabble in. But here in New York, we do bacon, egg, and cheese. Like that's a sandwich I have. Now, I normally don't do it on a roll, to be honest with you. I'll have it on a plain bagel. I've had it when they run out of those on a croissant, which I don't love as much, but the bagel is very nice. But I have not had it on a roll. I should probably do it in honor, of course, of our boy NYJ Matt and Mike Williams and everything, but I have not yet had it. I've been running around all over the place. No bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll this week, but maybe I can do it after the show. I will see what my time looks like heading to the radio station, but it's possible. It's possible.
Oh, okay. Well, for me, it's either sausage, egg, and cheese or bacon, egg, and cheese.
Okay. Nice. It's okay. You're part of it. I love it. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Boy Green Daily. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. My father will join us, one of your favorite guests that joins us on the program. My father, and we'll be talking about something. I'm sure that's for damn sure. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Whether you're watching on the show, whether you're listening, make sure, even if you can't, join the Boy Green Superfan Club, which I would love. But even if you can't, the free way everyone can contribute who's watching the show right now is by liking the video and hitting subscribe. We have over 150 people on YouTube right now, so make sure we have 150 likes, baby. Everyone do your part. A nice little would appreciate it. And thank you so much, everybody. So we will see you next time tomorrow morning. Take care and enjoy the tournament. We'll see you later. Peace.